Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Denise. For those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video, and today's video, as the title says below, is going to be my January book haul. I have quite a few books, I think I got over 40 something books or 30 something books here. Yeah. A good amount I purchased myself, and then a good amount was sent to me for review. So I'm going to start off with the purchases that I got myself. So I'll start off with book of the month because it's easy to do book of the month. So I have book of the month and book of the month YA. So from book of the month, if you guys want to see my unboxing that I did, just click the eye on the screen. But from there, I got Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. This is adult fantasy. It's historical fantasy, and that's pretty much what I remember. I believe there's a detective, and she has to figure out the mystery behind a kidnapped little girl, but the little girl has like some supernatural powers, and there's ghosts and other things. It says, Blending Darkness and Light, Things in Jars is a mesmerizing novel that collapses the boundary between fact and fairy tale to stunning effect and explore what it means to be human in inhumane times. And it's set in Victorian London. So I'm here for it. It sounded really epic. I saw a review on it, so I got this. And I also got my little bookmoji pins as well, so that was my January pick. Then from Book of the Month YA, I had two picks. One is actually done by accident because I actually have a finished copy of the book. But the first one is Ashlords by Scott Reintgen. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there's his name. But Phoenix Horses, pretty much. I've heard this kind of like Hunger Games with the Phoenix Horses. I'm here for the Phoenix Horses. And it's told in 3 perspectives. It sounded really good, so I got it. If you want more information, just click the on the screen. I'm not going to do synopsis for all of these books because there's way too many here. So if you want to get the full synopsis for this book, just click the on the screen and go to that unboxing video. But then after that, I went and got Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez, and I have read this. Oh my god, this was beautiful. This is such a beautifully written YA fantasy. It is steeped in Bolovian history, and it has a magic system that's based off of the moon, and it deals with a decoy condessa named Zemina, and it's so beautiful. There's a usurper named Atok. There is a romance involved. There's a lot of death going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I believe there's a sequel coming out for this. I will put on the screen if there is, but I found out that Isabel herself actually created this book cover, so I think that is so dope. She drew this out herself. But this book is just everything. Romance, magic, a war, ghost, animals, and the animals on the cover have something to do with Zemina, which I think is so dope. So yeah, loved it. Okay, moving on to my library. So my local library has a lot of books that they sell. They have 2 annual book sales, one in the spring, one in the winter, and then throughout the year they also sell various books that they haven't sold during those times. So I picked up 4 mass market paperback books, 2 sort of classic ones, a play, and then this paranormal romance in a sense. So this is actually book 2 in the series, which is perfectly fine. It's by Adrian Phoenix, and it's called In the Blood. It is book 2 of The Maker's Song. I don't know if this is vampires or not. Yep, vampires. So it deals with vampires. I enjoy vampires, and I enjoy paranormal romances, so I picked it up. It was only 25 cents, so why not? Following that, I got this Shakespeare 3-in-1 Tragedies. It's Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. I have read Hamlet. I have read Macbeth. Both I've read in high school and college. I've never read King Lear, and I do want to read the book Queens of Innis Lear. I think that's what the book is called, so I think I'm going to read the play first before I dive into that. But I thought it would be cool to just start building up my Shakespeare collection again. I did enjoy Shakespeare when I read it in high school and middle school, so I think my favorite play from him is Midsummer Night Dream, especially because I've seen so many different renditions of it, play-wise and movie-wise. It's probably one of my favorites. Romeo and Juliet is pretty much a standard, so I really don't want to call it a favorite, but I think of the 3 here, I believed I enjoyed Hamlet the most, and then Macbeth. So yeah, 25 cents again from my local library. Then I got a classic that I've actually never read. I've heard about so many times, but I've never read it, and it's Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is the enriched classic from Pocket Books. There is a commentary involved. It says, includes detailed explanatory notes, an overview of key themes, and more. So I want to get into reading more classics. So picked it up. Then I got a book that I've actually never read. I've never read the book. I've always seen the movies, and I love the movies. It's The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I have never in my life read the book. Seen the movies, love the movies, but I decided that this year I want to do a lot more book to movie adaptations. So I want to read the books and then watch the movies that correspond with them. So we have this, and it's considered a classic to me. It says the S. Morgenstern's classic tale of true love and high adventure. I adored the movie, so I'm really interested to see how the book plays it out. And then once I read the book, I'll rewatch the movie again. But yeah, we have The Princess Bride. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you guys a book that I got from my son's Scholastic School book sale. They actually had the book fair at his school, so I picked up one book for myself by Lamar. It's called Spin, and I know he has another one out that is actually on Book of the Month. It's called Not So Pure. I've never read anything from him, so I decided to just pick this up. It was only $10 at my son's book fair, and it's The Music Won't Stop Until the Beat Drops Dead. And this was an Edgar Award finalist. All that I know is that this deals with a young female DJ. She ends up dead, and there's a mystery behind her death. I'm here for it. Black girls, we done. So that's why I got it. And I do want to try to squeeze it in for February. But if I don't get to it this month, I'll definitely get to it next month. But it seems like it's going to be a cute little young YA read. So we have this. Okay, so the next 2 books I got from eBay, and I mentioned it in my December book haul that I was going to go and get the last 2 books in this series because I need it. I love Sarah J. Maas's writing. I really do. I am a big fan of her ACOTAR series. That's just me. Well, let me just say trilogy, because I like the core trilogy, even though it's a series. Will I continue on with ACOTAR? Most likely because I love her writing. A lot of people find it problematic. Some people don't like it. I don't mind it. It's like a guilty pleasure for me. So I went on eBay and got the last 2 books. This is book 6, and I don't care for book 6, honestly, because it's surrounded around Kale, and Kale is a character I don't care for. I prefer Aelin and Dorian, just saying. But that book is Tower Up Dawn. I know it started out as a novella, and then she ended up making a full-length novel out of it. I don't care, but I'm gonna read it because I have to, just because I want to finish the series. But yeah, we have Tower of Dawn. I didn't pay a lot for this either, so that was awesome. And this is the Barnes & Noble's special edition exclusive, so yeah. And then of course I had to get the phenomenal Kingdom of Ash, and oh, she's gorgeous, so gorgeous. And now I can binge read again. Like I said, I read book 1 through 4, or was it 1 through 5? I read book 1 through 5. I didn't read 6 because I didn't care for it. Didn't read 7, obviously, because I didn't read 6. And I also have the novella bind up. So I'm going to binge read over again, just because I do love Sarah J. Maas's writing. And I'm super excited for her new release that's coming out, the new adult novel. Can't wait. But moving on to Amazon. So I ordered some books from Amazon through their marketplace. All of the books came in as they were supposed to, except for one book, which I'm bothered by, but it's okay. So first thing I got was Laini Taylor's Night of Cake and Puppets. I needed the novella. I love her Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. That's literally my favorite book that she's written, her favorite series that she has written. I'm not a huge fan of The Strange the Dreamer, and I've read her other book, Lips Touched 3 times or something like that. But I needed this in my life, and I have not noticed how beautiful this is. First of all, the end pages. Pink on one side, and then blue on the other. And the actual the hardcover is blue on one side and pink on the other. Like, I love Susanna. I love her boyfriend. So I'm excited to have this and binge read over one of my favorite trilogies ever. So yeah. The next few books are all going to be Black Girl Magic kind of books, because I was just really looking forward to reading these. So the first one I'm currently reading actually right now, and it's pretty enjoyable so far. It's Daughters of Henri by Reni K. Amayo, and this cover is gorgeous to me. I love everything about this cover. Yes. Gorgeous. I'm on chapters 6 right now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think it's really interesting. Nala and Sanai are very much, they're twins. They look exactly alike, but they were taken at birth from their father, and they're trying to figure out their magical abilities. They have magic. They don't realize that they have magic, but they're trying to, I guess they're going to learn to figure it out. But yeah, I know that there is a guy named the Eze. I think there's, yeah, the Eze Chichire. I'm probably saying his name wrong. He's a king. The Eze means king. And I love that this has a glossary in the back because it's definitely helping me understand. But I love this. This is Nigerian-based fantasy. And I'm here for the black girl love, okay? The black girl magic. Just, yes, give me more. So I'm reading this now and it's really enjoyable. Okay, so the next book I have is War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. I actually purchased a hardcover, but the company that I purchased it from the Amazon Marketplace sent me an art copy, so I did contact them. They're going to refund me 30%. I'll just keep the arc, and if I enjoy the arc, I'll buy a hardcover for myself. But yeah, I have this, and I don't know much about this. I know that this is set in a post-apocalyptic Nigeria during the time of the Nigerian Civil War. I believe it's called the Biafran War. I'm not 100% sure if I'm saying it correctly, but I know that they have like bionic body parts and stuff like that. So yeah, we're here for it. Following that, I then picked up 2 books from Dhonielle Clayton. I picked up The Bells because why not? Gorgeous. And I also picked up the sequel, which is The Everlasting Rose. So I got both of these. And all that I know about this trilogy is that it follows some sisters. They're known as the Bells, and the Bells have the power to make people beautiful because the people of this kind of world were cursed. And they pretty much all look ugly, drab, and gray. And the Bells have the ability to make you really, really pretty. Yeah, I heard it's really good because there's a mystery portion to it. So I'm excited to see how I feel about it and dive in. And these covers with the dust jacket and without the dust jacket, gorgeous. Everything and more. So we have the Bells. Okay, so the next batch of books are all from Barnes & Nobles. I went to Barnes & Nobles a few times and snagged up some books. So the first one I got is The Wait by DeVon Franklin and Meagan Good. I love both of them. I know Meagan Good through watching BET back in the day, and DeVon Franklin is a man of God, and I just love his ministry and all that he's about. So I decided to grab this book in the store, and I got 2 copies, one from me, one from my mother. But it says, a powerful practice for finding the love of your life and the life that you love. So yeah, it talks about how they met, their relationship, and how they built their relationship on friendship and including God in their relationship. So I love this. Can't wait to dive in. I'm actually going to be reading it this month, towards the end of the month. So we have this. Okay, then this next book I already read, and that is going to be Slay by Brittney Morris. OMG, I adored this. I did paint my edges in lavender, if you guys can see, but I read this book, tabbed it up. Slay is phenomenal. It is YA contemporary with a little bit of sci-fi because there is a virtual reality game that deals with cards in this. And basically, Kiara, 17 years old, senior in high school, has created this virtual reality game for black people, for black children, for black adults, just to have a game where they can go and create characters that look like them. It's all about being Nubian kings and queens and embracing the black diaspora. And this was phenomenal. I love the card game aspect to this. I loved the whole mystery. There was a death that resulted from her game. I hated her boyfriend from the start, and I hated him even more in the ending. I'm a little upset he didn't have any repercussions for his actions. Really wish he did, but Slay was really, really good. 5-star read for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this, and I highly recommend it. Next book I got is something I got because I just love Sherlock Holmes, okay? I'm a fan of Sherlock Holmes. I've watched every Sherlock Holmes movie. I have not read any of the books, though, so I wanted to start collecting some Sherlock Holmes books. And I know every time I go to Barnes & Nobles, I always want to grab a classic. And I saw this classic. It was originally $12.98, but they had it on sale that day for only $10. And I'm not 100% sure how much this classic originally is, but it was bargain price and then thrown down by $2. So I got the Sherlock Holmes collection, and I love this. They did have a leather bound one that was the same price of $10, but I wanted this one. It's so nice and foiled up, and just I love it so much. The end pages are also like they have this silver metallic to it. It's an anthology of classic tales forwarded by John Lindbergh. It's the Sherlock Holmes collection. So you have the early novels, which are basically A Study in Scarlet and The Sign of Four. You have the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and then the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. And it's gothic fantasy. I can't wait. And I love the detail that they included. And I honestly, the text is pretty darn small, but I don't mind it at all. It's almost a tome, about 470 plus pages, but I can't wait to start diving into Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, I do want to start picking up some of the Barnes & Noble's classic editions, because I've never honestly read the classic editions of most stories. I've never read the real Peter Pan. I've never read the real Robin Hood. I've never read the real Dracula. I've never read the real Alice in Wonderland and things like that. So I definitely want to read the originals because I'm so used to reading the children's version or even watching like the children's movies. So yeah, I got this, and I love this so much. So I'm definitely going to display this on my shelf soon once I move, because I don't have space. You know, I don't have shelf space. So yeah, we got that. All right, and the last 6 books are all fantasy. Yeah, I like fantasy, if you didn't know. Fantasy is my genre. I started out with YA fantasy, but I'm really trying to get into a lot more adult fantasy. So this first book I got because I am partaking in a readathon for the Cosmere universe. So it's Cosmere Long. You can click the ice on the screen here to go to that video. I initially heard it from Kaz over at Little Book Owl, but I know another host is the one hosting it. But I know that it's Kaz, I think Becca from Becca in the Books, and then Jesse from Bow Ties and Books, and a few other people that are going to be hosting this. And for the month of February and March, we're going to be reading Elantris. I didn't have a physical copy of Elantris, so I picked up that. This is the first book from Brandon Sanderson, if I'm not mistaken. And I read Warbreaker, which was a standalone. I'm still saying it's a standalone, but I think there's a sequel coming out called Nightblood to that. Can't wait. But I read Warbreaker. I adored it so much. So I'm excited to read Elantris, which was his first novel, and to see how I feel about it. It's high fantasy. That's all I know. It follows 3 different perspectives. I think it has the same kind of feel as Warbreaker did, with following multiple perspectives. But I'm excited to, yeah, it tells you on the back exactly. A prince, a high priest, and a princess. I'm here for it. So we have this. Following that, I got a book that okay, all of these I own copies of, except for the last 2 books. I own copies of on e-reader. But I wanted physical copies because I feel like when it comes to my fantasy books, I like to annotate, underline, and things like that. So I decided to get physical copies. So I got volume 1 of the Rhaeria Revelations, Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is a bind-up of the first 2 books in that trilogy. It's actually a series, but this is a bind-up of the first 2 books. And I'm trying to figure out the names. The books are Crown of Conspiracy and Vimpartha. I'm saying it wrong. It'll be on the screen. But yes, bind up of that. And I'm excited. I've heard really great things about it. And yeah, so we have that. The next book is one that I've had for a while. Again, didn't read, but I wanted a physical copy because I really love the cover. And it's The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Yeah, I just want to read it. I don't know much about it. It's fantasy. High fantasy. And that's all that matters. So I got it. Then I got another Brandon Sanderson. So I really do want to get all of Brandon Sanderson's books. And as much as I do love the UK editions, I'm just going to get the American editions because it doesn't really matter to me which editions I have. And I do own the 3rd book in this series in hardcover because I picked it up from Barnes & Noble a while ago when they had it in their bargain section. So I just needed the 1st and 2nd book. And I got the 1st book, and that's going to be The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I decided to go with the larger version of the paperback instead of the mass market just because that mass market would have been tragic for me. So I got this one, and I'm excited. I love this so much. I love the images on this. Now, the hardcover had some really gorgeous images in the Oathbringer one that I have. But I'm excited. This is a hefty book, though. I mean, she well over 1,000 pages. She close to 1,000 pages, or she over? Yeah, she over 1,000 pages. She hefty, okay? But I'm excited to dive into this world. A lot of people love it. So I'm not gonna read this though until we do that for the Cosmere Long, which is probably, I think, towards the end of the year. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. The last 2 books are books I've heard mixed reviews about. Some people hate this book. Some people don't hate it. I've never read anything from this author, and I probably should not start with this because this is a sort of sequel series or follow-up series to his original series. But I saw them both there for $7.98. I mean, $8 a piece. And these books are originally $30. $30. And I only got them for $8. So I figured, why not? And they had both books 1 and 2. So this is Death's Mistress from Terry Goodkind. Or is it Goodkind or Goodkin? Don't know. But this is the first book in the Nikki, I think it is. The Nikki Chronicles. And this is Sisters of Darkness. So I got the first book. Don't know anything about it. I know that it follows Nikki and another guy. I think is a priest or something like that. Nikki and Richard or something. Or is it Nikki and Nathan? I don't know. It follows Nikki and another dude. This dude here from his other series, which I do own, like I said, on ebook. I haven't read them yet, so I probably shouldn't have got this, but it was only $8, so I couldn't pass it up. So I got the first book. And then, of course, they had the second book, which is Shroud of Eternity. This is volume 2 of the Sister of Darkness Nikki Chronicles. So it was $8. Yeah, y'all see that. $7.98. So I got it. Hopefully I like it. This is who he is. I've heard mixed reviews about him. Some people don't like his attitude. For me, when it comes to reading books, I don't tend to get caught up in the personal affairs of authors. I prefer not to get involved in that drama just because it'll take the enjoyment away from the books. I don't know. That's just me personally. I don't try to stay up on the whole author drama stuff unless it's something like drastic. Then I don't personally care about the drama. I've heard people complain about this author's attitude. Personally, I don't really follow people on Twitter. I have Twitter accounts. I don't really pay attention to my Twitter. So, I mean, it's a book at the end of the day and I want to read it. So, yeah. Okay. The last set of books are all books that were sent to me for review or 3 book boxes. So the first 4 books I'm going to share with you guys were sent to me. 2 were from book boxes, 2 were sent for review. But these are going to be biblical fiction, Christian fiction books. So the first book is going to be from Angela Hunt and it's called Judah's Wife. This is book 2 in her Silent Years series, which is all about the years that God was silent. So between the Old Testament and the New Testament, these are basically 4 stories that she created. This is book 2. Book 1 is called Egypt's Sister. This is book 2. This one is a novel of the Maccabees. I haven't read it, but I do own a copy of it. So when I received it in my book box, it was a shock because I own this already. So I will be handing this off to someone else on my other channel. And then I also have book 3 in that series, which is Jerusalem's Queen. This is a novel of Salome Alexandria, and this cover is everything. It's stunning. When it comes to biblical fiction, they never fail me with their covers. Like, she gorgeous, and I love the detail on the spine, everything. All right. Then following that, I got a book from one of my absolute favorite biblical fiction authors ever. When it comes to biblical fiction authors, she is literally my number one. I've read every single one of her books. She has a Bible study coming out that I'm going to be purchasing, and I adore it. It's going to be Daughter of Rome by Tessa Apshaw. I've read the e-arc. I got a physical copy, so I haven't read it yet. But this book is basically a retelling, not a retelling, but it is a fictional story of Priscilla and Aquila from the New Testament. And yeah, I read it. I loved it. I gave it a 4.75 star rating, and I definitely recommend it. The last Christian fiction book that I got is Endgame by Rachel Dillon. This is the first book in the Capital Intrigue. I read this book, gave it a 4.5 star rating. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is for people who enjoy NCIS. If you love the TV show NCIS, then definitely check this book out because it is written like an episode of NCIS, and it does involve the NCIS. So you're getting a lot of drama with the Navy and the military and things like that. So this was a really epic read for me. Okay, so the next book I got from Pump Up Your Books. I work with them. They're a blog tour company. I'll leave their link down below if you're interested in getting and reviewing books. But this is a YA fantasy, and it's called Britfield and the Lost Crown by C.R. Stewart. And I received this for review. I do have to read and review this for the month of March. But I'm excited to dive into this. This book actually came with a note from the publishing company, 2 stickers, and then a bookmark, which I need to actually laminate this, so I should keep that out. But yeah, it sounds really epic, and I'm excited to dive into this ASAP. Next book was sent to me from the author, and this is adult fantasy, which I was here for, and I'm gonna actually read the blurb from the back that I read that really got me like interested. But it's called The Nexus Mirror. It's the first book in the Chronicles of Enlia, and it's by N.E. Michael. Here it is. The author personally contacted me to review this book, and I am so excited to dive in. So I'm going to actually just read the back of the blurb. It says, "My name is Raiden Williams. I'm 22 years old from Chicago, Illinois. I make a mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh yeah, I also blew up an orphanage, killed 2 shadows with atom bombs, executed a burner with a sword, am a wanted terrorist in all 50 states, slew a life-sucking beast and saved a princess from a tower, flew a dinosaur and entered the Nexus Mirror and lived." That's it. That's all I need to read. So I'm going to hopefully, if I can't get to it this month, I'm definitely going to read it in March because I definitely want to get this review back to him. But this just sounds really epic, and I can't wait. Now, the font on this is small, but we're going to work it out because we got glasses. So, yeah. Okay, so the next 2 books I got from Rockstar Books because I do work with them. They're a book tour company. So the first one I got is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. And like I said, I did have the Book of the Month copy, which was a mistake because I didn't know they were sending me this copy until I got the Book of the Month copy in the mail. So yeah, but I read this one. I adored it. I tabbed it up, as you can see. So I'm not really going to tell you guys about it because I showed it already with Book of the Month when I showed those Book of the Month books. But I did love this book. Highly recommend it. It is YA fantasy steeped in Bolovian history and politics. And it does deal with a magic system that's based on the moon. And it has ghosts and it has little furry animals. And I'm going to just leave it at that. And again, the actual author of this book created this cover herself. Gorgeous. So we have that, and then following that I have another YA fantasy. I don't really consider this fantasy because there's no magical aspects to it. It's more so a YA retelling, but it's Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. I did read this. I gave it a 3.75 star rating only because I have never seen or read The Count of Monte Cristo. I will be trying to find the Disney version because that's I believe what she based it off of, but I did enjoy it enough, and I think Amayo, is it Amayo? Yeah, Amayo and Kayo are just the cutest little thing ever. So, yeah. Okay, so the last 4 books are all from Jean Book Nerd. I love Jean Book Nerd. You guys know I do the Jean Book Nerd Storytellers box unboxings. Click the eye to go watch those. But this first book came from my January box. This is Tempting Sydney by Angela Corbett, and it is a new adult novel. New adult romance. That's it. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the next book I got is this one. It is called Bridge 108 by Anne Charnock. This was actually just sent to me, and it's a really short read, but it's definitely going to be one of those hard-hitting ones because it deals with a young boy. I think he's 12 or 11. Yeah, 12-year-old Caleb he gets separated from his mother, and then he becomes enslaved in an enclave outside of Manchester. He befriended a fellow victim of the trafficking, and it's told through multiple voices, set against the backdrop of a haunting and frighteningly believable future. Bridge 108 charts the passage of a young boy into adulthood amid oppressive circumstances that are increasingly relevant to our present day. So it does talk about human trafficking, and it's told from the perspective of a little boy, and I know it's going to grip my heart. I'm not ready for it, but we have it. And it's a cute little cover. I like this cover. It's really cute. Short book, so we have that. The next book I have is called Watch Hollow by Gregory Finero. This is going to be early YA fantasy, and it sounds like it's going to be good. I have this because I have to read the second book, which is going to be, oh my god. There's a sequel coming out. I'll put the title on the screen. But, yeah, so this one is filled with magic. It's following 2 children, Lucy and Oliver Tinker, and their family. And they arrive in Watch Hollow, which is a place, I guess, which is, it's a town. Yeah, so deep within an enchanted woods in the town of Watch Hollow stands the once grand Blackford House, whose halls hold a magical secret, a giant cuckoo clock that does much more than tell the time. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, their father has to, like, fix the clock, but in the father fixing the clock, the 2 children find out that there's more to it than just fixing the clock, and there's a monster that just wants to control everything. So it sounds like it's going to be cute and fun. Short read, so I have it. The last and final book for this book haul. I don't know how many books that was. I'll throw on the screen how many books it was that I hauled. But I have The Unwilling by Kelly Bradford. Now, I do have the ARC, but I was also kindly sent a finished copy from the publishing company. So I now have an ARC and a finished copy, and I'm going to be reading the finished copy this month because my review is due on the 11th. Yeah. But this is going to be YA fantasy, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna keep it at. On the front it says, she has no name, no history, but a power the empire has never known, and it was blurred by Aaron Morgenstern, and it says fantasy at its most sublime. So yeah, I've heard that it's suspenseful, magical, and a complex fantasy world, so I'm excited to dive into this, but I'm gonna read the finished copy and just keep the ARC just because we like ARC copies. Okay, but yeah. So that is it for this massive book haul. I'm gonna try not to have that many books for next month, but so far I already have like 4 books to haul for February. Yeah, So pray for me. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. If you are subscribed, click the bell to stay notified. If you have any recommendations for video ideas, let me know. I do have 2 book reviews coming for you guys. I have the review for Opposite of Always, and I definitely have Warbreaker coming. And I'm also thinking about doing a review for Slay because I thoroughly enjoyed that book. But yeah, I do want to get into including more book reviews on my channel and not just doing tags, hauls, and TBR videos. But yeah, that is it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!